Hello, friends. Welcome back to SpeakNest English Podcast Zone, where English is not just a language, it's your tool for real life. Today's episode is very practical. We're learning English for banks, post offices, and government offices. These places can feel scary, especially in another country. But don't worry, after this episode, you'll be ready. Let's get started.
Today we're focusing on something really practical. It's about feeling confident using English in places like banks.
Yeah, banks and sometimes, government offices too, though we're focusing on banks today. These places can feel a bit, intimidating, especially if it's not your first language or you're new somewhere.
Absolutely. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. Give you the key English phrases, the vocabulary you need, so you can walk in there feeling, prepared.
Exactly. It's not just about knowing the words, is it? It's about being able to, actually use them to get things done.
Okay, so let's dive right into the bank scenario. You walk in. What are some really common things you might actually need to say?
Good starting point.
Like opening an account. You could say, I would like to open a bank account. Or maybe just, I'd like to open an account.
That I'd like is good. It sounds polite, a bit more formal than just, I want.
Right. And if you're putting money in,
You could say, I want to deposit money, or maybe I need to make a deposit.
and taking money out.
I need to withdraw some cash. Or I'd like to make a withdrawal.
Simple enough. What about just checking how much money you have?
Can I check my account balance, please? Always good to add a please.
Oh, and the dreaded lost card situation.
Ah, yes. I've lost my ATM card, or I need to report a lost card. It's straight to the point there.
And a really useful one before you even start anything major. Asking what you need, like what documents are required or what do I need to bring?
Yes, that saves so much hassle.
Yeah.
Now, flip side, what might the bank staff ask you?
Good one. They'll definitely ask for ID.
Right. Do you have a valid ID? That usually means, passport, driver's license, something official.
And they might ask about the type of account.
What type of account would you like? Savings, checking?
Yeah, you need to know the difference there, and you'll almost certainly hear.
Please sign here.
Yeah.
Standard stuff.
And maybe about online access.
Increasingly, yes. Would you like to set up online banking?
Okay, let's try a quick back and forth. Imagine you're the customer, I'm the bank clerk. Good morning, how can I help you today?
Hi. I'd like to open a checking account. Could you tell me what documents I need?
Perfect. See? Polite, clear, asks for the necessary info, you're in control.
Exactly. It feels better, right?
Definitely. Now, let's quickly cover some essential vocabulary. Words you'll hear a lot.
Okay, key terms.
First up, account. That's just, where your money is held at the bank.
Then deposit. That's putting money in.
And the opposite, withdraw. Taking money out.
Balance. That's simply how much money is in your account right now.
Interest. That little bit extra money the bank might pay you for keeping money with them or charge you for borrowing.
ID proof. Like we said, passport, official ID.
ATM. The cash machine, automated teller machine.
Statement. That list of all your transactions, money in, money out.
Signature. Your name, written by you. They love checking that.
They do. And finally, transaction, which is just any activity on your account, a deposit, a withdrawal, a payment.
These words are like the building blocks, aren't they?
Totally. And once you get comfortable with deposit and withdraw, hearing transaction makes more sense. It clicks.
So maybe try using them, even just making a sentence in your head later.
Yeah, I need to check my balance before I withdraw cash. Or my bank statement shows a deposit yesterday. It helps it stick.
It really does. So wrapping up, just understanding these basic phrases and words we talked about.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it can really boost your confidence in these, let's face it, sometimes formal or stressful English-speaking situations.
Knowing you can ask what documents are required or understand when they ask for your ID proof just takes away a layer of worry.
It empowers you, really. It's about managing your own affairs, feeling more independent.
Absolutely. And maybe think about this. When you feel more confident handling, say, the bank in English, does that maybe make you feel a bit more ready to tackle other everyday English interactions too? Sometimes sorting the practical stuff opens up more than you expect.
That's a great thought to end on. Okay, let's dive right in. We all know that feeling, don't we? Walking into, say, a bank or maybe a government office, especially if it's, in a new country.
Yeah.
It can feel, a bit much sometimes. A little intimidating.
It really can, yeah. All the formal procedures, unfamiliar faces, and a big part of making that easier is just getting a handle on some key English phrases.
Right.
So that's what we're focusing on today, giving you the practical language you need for these formal spots, banks, post offices, places like that, to help you feel more, well, confident.
Exactly. Think of it as a quick guide to feeling, more comfortable and less stressed in those moments. Now, something really basic but super important is politeness.
Absolutely crucial.
It sounds obvious, maybe, but your tone, the words you choose, they genuinely make a difference in how people respond, how helpful they might be.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because politeness in these kinds of English-speaking settings, it's often seen as respect. Respect for the person's job, their time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So starting with something simple, like, could you please help me? It sets a good tone right away. Cooperative.
Yeah, it's direct, but still, considerate.
Yeah.
And what if you need to ask something instead of just blurting it out?
Right. A simple, may I ask a question, works wonders. It shows you're, aware they might be busy. You're not just demanding their attention.
Okay, good one. And saying thank you.
Oh, definitely. Don't underestimate that. A clear thank you for your time, or even I really appreciate your help, leaves a good feeling, makes people more willing to assist next time.
It's true. Little things.
Yeah.
And if you're lost, you walk in and have no idea where to go.
Yeah, happens all the time. Excuse me, where should I go? That's perfect.
Yeah.
Polite, gets you the information you need without sounding demanding or interrupting abruptly. These phrases really do carry weight.
They really do. Okay, so let's maybe make this more concrete. Put it in a situation. Let's imagine walking into a bank.
Good idea. Let's do a quick role play. Yeah. So imagine the bank officer starts.
Okay, I'll be the officer. Good morning. How may I assist you?
And you, the listener, might say something like, hello, I want to open a fixed deposit account, please.
Okay. Do you have your ID and address proof?
Yes, here they are. Thank you.
Great. Please fill this form.
Thank you very much.
See, it's smooth. Those little polite bits, the please, the thank you, when handing things over, the final thank you very much, they're woven in.
Exactly. And notice also how clear the request was, I want to open a fixed deposit account. That clarity, combined with the politeness, it just makes everything, efficient. And practicing saying these things out loud beforehand, it can really help them feel more natural when you actually need them.
Yeah, definitely good advice. So, wrapping this up, what's the key takeaway here?
Well, I think it's that these formal places, they don't need to be sources of anxiety, really.
Right.
If you consciously use polite language, even just these basic phrases, and understand the general flow of the interaction, it can make a huge difference to your confidence.
Makes the whole experience smoother, doesn't it?
It really does. It's about feeling a bit more empowered. Language is a tool, after all. And learning these basics is like getting a useful key for better communication.
So maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. Beyond banks or post offices, where else could these polite phrases be useful in your life? Think about other formal situations you might run into, and maybe how you could practice a few of these simple interactions to prepare. Just something to mull over. Okay, let's talk about that feeling. When you have to go to a bank or maybe the post office or some government building, especially if it's somewhere new, different country maybe, it can feel a bit, daunting.
Definitely. There's that uncertainty, isn't there?
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is basically to give you a toolkit, some key English phrases to make those interactions feel smoother, less stressful, hopefully.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you often don't need super advanced English for these things. No, sometimes just a few specific phrases are like a shortcut. The right tool for that specific job.
Exactly, the right tool. Okay, so let's start with the post office. Pretty common one. You've got a letter, maybe a small package.
Okay.
What's the opening line? What do you say?
Well, something direct is usually best, like, I want to send this parcel, or I need to mail this letter.
Simple? Okay, direct. I want to send a parcel. Got it. Then the practical stuff comes up, like cost.
Yeah, you definitely need to ask, how much does it cost? That's fundamental.
And what about knowing where it's going? Can you track it?
Good point. So asking, is there tracking available, is really useful. Gives you peace of mind.
And maybe, when will it arrive? People want to know that.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Manages expectations for whoever's getting it.
Okay, makes sense. But what if you get there and realize, oh, wait, I forgot something basic, like you need a stamp or...
Oh, yeah. Happens all the time. Don't hesitate. Just, I need a stamp, please. Or do you have an envelope I could buy?
Simple enough. So let's run through a quick example. You're there, the postmaster asks.
They might ask something like, what are you sending? Or what's inside?
And you could just say...
Keep it brief.
Huh?
It's just a document for my family.
Okay.
Or a book for my friend in Germany. Something clear.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, post office. Hopefully a bit less intimidating now. Let's switch gears. Government offices. These can feel a step up in formality, maybe?
They can, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's more paperwork, more process. But honestly, the same idea applies. Clear, simple English is your best friend.
So focus on why you're there.
Exactly. State your purpose clearly right at the start.
Okay, so you walk in, might be queues, different counters. How do you kick things off? What do you say?
You could say, I am here to submit a form. Very clear. Or maybe, I need a copy of my birth certificate.
Right, or something like, I would like to update my address.
Exactly. See how they all start with I and a clear action. That directness really helps.
And then navigating the place, finding the right spot.
Good question. You might need to ask, where is counter number 3? Or which department handles permit applications?
And the waiting. How long is this going to take?
Yeah, the big question. Asking how long will it take or what's the estimated wait time is perfectly reasonable.
Good to know. Now, what about stuff you might hear from them, like common instructions or phrases?
Okay, yeah, you'll often hear things like, please wait for your token number. That's standard queuing.
Right. Or maybe,
Take this form and fill it out. Or, uh-oh, your documents are incomplete.
the incomplete documents. What else?
Sometimes, come back tomorrow. Or maybe you need a signature from the officer over there. You got to be ready for those.
That's really helpful prep. So if things get confusing or you just don't catch what they said, any tips?
Absolutely. Number 1, don't panic, don't rush, speak slowly yourself. Politeness goes a long, long way.
And if you don't understand,
Just ask.
Yeah.
It's totally fine to say, sorry, could you please repeat that? Or could you say that differently? Or could you explain that? Getting it right is more important than pretending you understood.
so true. Clarity is key.
Yeah.
Okay, so whether it's mailing something or sorting out paperwork, it sounds like having a few go-to phrases really makes a difference.
It really does. It builds
That's all for
confidence.
today's episode of
Knowing you can
SpeakNest
handle
English
these
Podcast
necessary
Zone.
tasks, it's not
Remember,
about being
you don't
fluent
need big
overnight. It's
words.
about
You just need
communicating
real
effectively
practice.
for that
Speak at
specific
home,
situation.
speak
Exactly.
while
It's
walking,
about
and
feeling
most
more
importantly,
capable, less
speak without
stressed when you
fear.
have to do
See
these
you
official
next
things.
time,
It kind of
where we'll go
unlocks
deeper and
access
make
to what
English
you
more
said
natural
already.
and powerful for your real life.
There's independence.
Until
So a
then,
final thought
keep
for you,
smiling
our
and
listeners,
keep
maybe
speaking
share.
English.
Well, think about this. Mastering these small, specific interactions, like at the post office, it builds a foundation, right? It's not just about that task. It's about building your overall confidence to interact with the world around you more. So maybe think, what other situations could use this kind of targeted phrase approach? Where else could a few key sentences make a big difference for you? Today, we're digging into something pretty common, actually. Using English in those more formal places like banks, post offices, maybe government offices.
Yeah, the kinds of places that, let's be honest, can feel a bit intimidating.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially if English isn't your first language, right? It adds another layer.
It really does. And clear communication there, well, it can make a huge difference.
Exactly. Smooth sailing versus, unnecessary stress.
Right.
So our mission basically is to give you some practical phrases and just boost that confidence a bit.
So you can handle these situations more easily.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, the goal here isn't perfect English. It's just being understood.
Yeah.
Clear communication.
That is the absolute key. Confidence really grows when you know what you can say.
Okay, so let's dive right in. First off, that feeling. If you've ever felt nervous, or maybe like you don't quite belong in those places because of language.
That feeling of being an outsider.
Yeah. I just want to say up front, you absolutely belong there. You have every right to access those services.
That's so important to state. That feeling is real, but you need to sort of reframe it.
Reframe it how?
Well, think of every time you go in as practice, a step forward in using English.
Oh, I like that. An opportunity to learn and grow, not just a potential problem.
Exactly. It's about communicating effectively, not perfectly. Take a breath. You're entitled to be served.
And often the staff, they're used to helping people, right? People with different English levels.
Usually, yeah. They're generally there to assist.
Okay, good. So let's get practical. Phrases. Things you can actually use right away.
simple stuff that can really smooth things out.
Let's start with, what if you don't understand something? They explain something and it's just not clear.
Right, instead of just nodding, which we all do sometimes.
Guilty.
Yeah. Try something polite but direct. Like, can you explain that again, please?
Simple. Effective. Adding the please helps.
Always. Or if you want to be more specific, maybe, could you please explain the part about the fee again? Something like that.
Oh, that's even better. Pinpointing the confusing part. Okay, what about forms? There are always forms.
Always forms, yeah. To make sure you've got the right one, just ask simply, is this the right form for opening an account or whatever you're doing?
Saves hassle later. Definitely. Okay, and then there's usually a process, right? Like, where do I go? What do I do next?
Yeah, don't guess. Just ask, what should I do next? Is perfectly fine.
Or should I wait here? Or maybe, do I take a number?
Exactly. Clear questions get clear answers, usually.
Now, what if you'd feel more comfortable maybe in your first language? Is it okay to ask about that?
Absolutely. A very straightforward way is there someone here who speaks your language?
Okay. Nothing wrong with asking.
Not at all. It's a perfectly acceptable question.
And one more scenario.
Yeah.
What if you just feel, I don't know, rushed or overwhelmed? Need a moment.
It is completely okay to pause things. You can say, thank you. Can I take some time to think about this?
Or even, can I come back later?
Precisely. Can I come back later? It gives you space to process without pressure.
These are all so useful, really practical. So here's the actionable takeaway for you listening. Don't try to memorize them all at once. Just pick, say, three phrases you think you'll likely need soon.
Yeah, focus on just a few. Makes it much less daunting, much easier to remember and actually use them.
Right. Become your go-to phrases for those situations.
Good plan.
Okay, so just to recap quickly, we focused on being clear, polite, and prepared.
For using English in these formal places, banks, post offices, government spots.
And stressing, again, it's not about perfection. It's about your ability to communicate, to get things done.
Using the tools you have. Every interaction helps build those tools.
Definitely. Okay, looking ahead, next time, we're shifting gears completely.
Oh!
Where are we going? To the fun side. English for social stuff parties, birthdays, weddings, celebrations.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Whole different vibe. Different vocabulary, different expectations.
Totally different. Should be interesting.
Looking forward to it.
So, until then, keep your chin up in those formal settings. Speak clearly. Keep practicing.
Every little bit builds confidence.
It really does. And here's something to think about before we go.
Okay.
Think about a formal interaction you might have coming up, maybe going to the bank next week. How could using just one of these phrases we talked about, maybe asking for clarification or confirming a form, how could that make you feel?
Yeah, how might it shift your feeling from nervous to maybe a little more in control, more confident?
Exactly. What difference could that small bit of prepared communication make? Something to mull over.
That brings us to the end of episode 28 of SpeakNest English Podcast Zone. Remember, English for banks, post offices, and government offices is all about being clear, polite, and prepared. Next episode, we'll go into something fun. English for social gatherings and celebrations. Birthdays, weddings, parties, we'll cover it all. Until then, keep your head high, your voice clear, and always, keep speaking English.